The last 2.5 years, I have worked very hard for Slough constituents, standing up, whether it was in terms of standing up to Islamophobia, which was meted out by the Conservative Prime Minister Boris Johnson. We have been knocking on thousands of doors.
Hello Mr. Dhesi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ghafoor, for coming here. And it's a pleasure to be interviewed by InfoAir media, and it's great that you're Slough based as well, which is within my constituency.
Okay, thank you. Can you please tell me about yourself, and the second is what motivates you that you choose politics?
Well, look, I was born here in the Slough area, but then I've also spent 4 years studying in the Punjab. Then I moved to Kent. Then after university, I've also lived and worked in Scotland for 3 years. And now for the last 2.5 years, I've been back here in Slough, living here. So in terms of politics, I have always had a very active interest in current affairs, in history, and I've been a Labour Party member for well in excess of 15 years now. So very passionate in terms of community service, very community oriented. From my grandparents to my parents, they're also very heavily involved in serving the community. So I think it was quite natural. And since my university days, I've always been left-leaning. So in terms of the Labour values and Labour ideals, they were very attractive to me, because Labour stands up for everybody, and Labour also fights for equality and social justice.
Okay, thank you very much. So you have been MP for Slough for a few years, and what special have you done for them? And now actually the general election is coming. So the Slough people of Slough, they will vote you again. Any reason?
Well, look, Mr. Ghafoor, over the last 2.5 years, I have worked very hard for Slough constituents. In fact, I have been a very strong voice for them in Parliament, standing up, whether it was in terms of standing up to Islamophobia, which was meted out by the Conservative Prime Minister Boris Johnson, asking him direct question, whether it's in Prime Minister questions. I've also been involved in dozens of debates within Parliament on a whole array of issues with regards to the National Health Service, environment, human rights, whether it's in terms of human rights within Kashmir, Palestine, Myanmar, and indeed in other parts of the world, whether it's also with regards to the Western Rail link to Heathrow, which would benefit Slough businesses and also Slough commuters, as well as taking cars off our roads in terms of being more environmentally friendly. So I'm the co-chair of that all-party parliamentary group. I am also a vice chair of the all-party parliamentary group on British Muslims, as well as being a vice chair of the all-party parliamentary group on Kashmir. And I've been involved in many other things locally as well, with the Labour-run Slough Council. So I've been working closely with them for the benefit of constituents. So helping to ensure that our town is continually regenerated, and that we're also building hundreds of units of social as well as affordable housing here, which is very much needed. Also been working with the Slough Police as well, because I know that despite the huge cuts that they've had in terms of the number of officers within not just Slough but nationally as well, but working with all of these various agencies to try to keep our communities as safe as possible. But whether it's also in terms of advice surgeries, I have been holding 5 different advice surgeries in different parts of the town, including on a Sunday morning, listening to constituents, helping them with their problems. That's why I'm very confident that once again Slough constituents will re-elect me to serve them in the next Parliament.
That's good. So how's your campaign going? And if you've been selected again, then what will be your next planning then?
Well, look, I think the campaign is going very well. Thankfully, I'm getting a lot of support from local constituents, as well as people from outside as well, who are coming to help in our campaign. So our campaign centre here in Chalvey is a centre of our activity, but we have been knocking on thousands of doors, as well as delivering leaflets. You can also see some of our activity on social media on my Dhesi Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, as well as on YouTube as well as on my website tsdesi.com. And I think that if I'm re-elected, residents can be assured that I will continue to work hard for them, just as I've been doing in the last 2.5 years, to ensure that Slough goes to greater heights.
Thank you very much for giving time to InfoAir Media. So in the last, so what message you want to convey to the people of Slough and your community?
Well, look, in terms of Slough constituents, please once again bestow your trust and faith in me. I can assure you that I will stand up for all communities, regardless of background or colour or creed. I will also ensure that I work with our Labour-run council to ensure that we get the best possible outcome for Slough, and working with other authorities as well. And I will no doubt be a strong voice, just as I have been thus far in Parliament and beyond, and whether it's working with our excellent community and youth services as well as charities, because I think it's working with the community groups that we can get the best possible outcome and the best possible results for our communities. And you will also have somebody who battles against, as I've been doing in terms of the further privatisation of our National Health Service, also ensuring that we finally get rid of the austerity which has been there under the last Tory government, because we need public services, we need more police on our streets, because violent crime and knife crime is now at a record high. And also, whether it's in terms of our education services, our schools have seen within Slough more than £12 million cut from their budgets. So under a Labour MP, under a Labour government, we will be ensuring that our public services, including our schools and our council, are properly funded.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tanmanjeet.
InfoAirWorld, worldwide information.